Hey, part 3 or part 2? Well, whichever part it is. I'm doing my next part on my what if Izuku was trained by the Straw Hats. In the last part, everyone basically started training with Izuku, excepted Shoto that doesn't want to train with him. Um, Tokoyami that thinks his quirk is too dangerous, even though Izuku would probably be able to stop him pretty easily. And Tsuyu that wasn't able to be there for the first day. So in the last part, basically at the end, he made everyone taste a rumble ball because he thought that the rumble ball could affect people with quirks. Yes, they do, but only specific kind of quirks. So everyone in class 1A that ate some didn't get anything from them. Because Ojiro is basically just a tail that he has. It's not an animal distinction. So Tokoyami and Tsuyu could, because Tokoyami has a micromutation for a quirk. So his head, which is the head of a bird, the rumble ball could affect him in a certain way, but I'm not saying it right now. Just like Tsuyu can be affected, but it's basically going to augment their power, that's for sure. But I'm not saying what it will do precisely to their body. So they started training with Momo training with swords. Basically, she made exactly the same kind of swords that Izuku had, but from what normal swords are made of. She tried to train in three-sword style at first, but her jaw was really not strong enough to do any of that. So she's kind of stuck with trying to do two-sword style for now. Mizuku basically explained to her how him and his master of swordsmanship trained for that. Basically, they have a weight in their mouth that they always keep there for a while, augmenting the weight every time their body gets okay with it. Because of the power he has, which is basically augmenting the speed at which his body gains mass, power, and that he can learn stuff the more he's into it. For him, it took less time than normal people would, but it would take at least a bit for her, because Zoro was born a superhuman, just like Luffy was, and it took him, well, he looked about the same age when he started training for Three Sword Style as when he was able to use it. So using it is doable in the same year. What isn't makeable is being as strong as Zoro is, or as Izuku is also. Which Izuku is a lot stronger than than what the Straw Hats are in the series right now, because for him it's been 60 years, so they are also extremely stronger. But he kept growing at the exponential speed that he did, so he he is probably stronger than all of the Straw Hat combined right at this point because of the exponential growth that he has. But Before he came back to his world, he was basically exactly on par with every Straw Hat, stronger for some of them. Like Frankie's body would have been destroyed by Izuku, so yeah. But he basically knows every combat style that everyone had in the Straw Hats. Every time someone new was in on the ship, and for a while, he basically trained with them, so he knows more than just their skills. Like he doesn't have glove like Carrot, but for a while he trained with her to basically fight a bit like her. But he didn't. He they weren't able to make him some so that he can keep them. And since he doesn't have the capacity to make electricity, he basically didn't keep the fighting style because he was never able to find someone who could make them. But after seeing um, Momo do the swords, because he knew about her quirk, but he never thought about it like that, and suddenly he just thought, wait, I know exactly how the gloves are made and what they are made of. It was because, let's say, it was explained to him. So he basically asked Momo if she could make him specific things, because basically he asked her to do them, specifically the size, the way they look, everything, and she basically made them, and then everyone asked him why would he use that. Then he basically said, because I know how to fight with those, and basically went and fought exactly like Carrot does, using them. Basically, they're on the beach, so let's say he asks her to make a dummy as well. She makes one, and he basically goes straight at it, showing like really good reflexes and ways to use it. So basically, everyone decided to train a lot because they saw how Deku was strong. He knew how to use multiple weapons, even some that were weird, because basically they're just gloves with claws. Aizawa, that heard about the training, basically asked someone to go see what they were doing. Or did I say he followed them? If I said he followed them, he he was seeing it. If I didn't say that, let's say he went to check on them at some point and basically saw Izuku using the gloves, and he was like, what kind of other things does he have hidden in there? So he basically trains everyone for the day. The next day, Tsuyu was there as well. He didn't think of giving her Rumble Ball because he just didn't think about it. So she asked for a new way of training. Well, basically, she looked for what training he did just to get stronger and stuff like that. And she mostly asked him about the um what is it called? Um I can't find the word. Be right back. The climate tech. She basically asked about that mostly because she was basically she's a frog, so water is helpful, and she has trouble in cold places or in too hot of a places. And she saw him make bubble of heat and bubble of cold and rain and stuff like that. So she asked about it and if he could find a way to ask Momo to make her one. He basically, since he knows exactly what um, Usopp used to make them, how he made them, basically saw him make his, and he was told exactly everything that was in it, even the weird cloud things and the egg, well, the climate egg or something like that. And basically, because when he went and came back to his world, he basically tried looking what the composition of everything he had was after learning. Well, not directly when he got back, but when he learned about Momo and after she did his glove, he basically looked at how well what the eggs are made of and every material that are in his staff, which he was able to find and basically learned everything exactly. So basically, he said, yeah, he could ask her to make new ones. So that Aoyama asked him to try and teach him hockey, but he told him it wasn't going to work. Um, so basically, everyone's or training in blackleg style or just training muscle, and then training their quirks with Izuku to get stronger. Momo's learning um, one sword style, two sword style, and three sword style from Izuku, but she won't be able to fight as well as him. Not even in like, well, at the end of what we already have in the series, she won't even be able to fight like him or close to him. Since Zoro started training, I think at age 10 or something, and he was growing faster than a normal human. That's that is 100% sure. So her that basically will have a normal growth in strength and stuff like that, she won't be able to use even what we saw at the start of the series. She still learned how to fight with swords, so that's always good, but she won't be able to make air pressure and stuff like that. Tsuyu basically started well, Izuku asked Momo to make them. It took her a while to be able to fully make them because it was weird for her to try and make those. At some point she was able to do them correctly, but it took like 2 or 3 days to do so. So basically the end of the week, when they went back to school, Aizawa basically saw all of the new weapons they had. He said, so all of you have something new now, which basically everyone trained for a bit with Izuku for their different thing that they wanted to learn. So over time, they basically got at least a bit of training in. Then Aizawa tells them that they have 2 weeks of training because it's the sports festival. Then he looks at Deku and says that he can put a request to let you have your weapons, and he says no need, I won't need them. Which Aizawa was like, are you sure you would have the permission to use them? in exchange for some points, and he says, well, I'm already stronger than probably than everyone here, so it wouldn't really be fair to actually have them. Which Aizawa sighs and says, okay. So after that, I think they still go to class every day, but just train a lot afterward and train at school. So basically, the teachers that trained them at school weren't really useful because basically everyone was going for Izuku. Um, Even when All Might was there because they were learning his fighting style. Even Kaminari, who has One for All, was going for Izuku for help. So at one point, All Might decided to ask Izuku for some help with something, since Izuku was basically able to, by himself and with another doctor, heal some wounds that should not be able to even be healed from their medicines. He then decided to ask him for some help and said to every student to basically turn on their own for a bit while he talked with Izuku. Kaminari said, just looked at him weird, and All Might made a simple movement with his head that he got but no one else. So basically, he's going to explain One for All for One, the incident, the wound, and ask him to help him. So basically, all of that happens. He shows his skinny form, what Izuku says, "Oh, that explains why you're. I was remembering you from somewhere that before." He says, "Wait, so you knew that it was me?" He said, "Not really, but kind of." So, because they can sense kind of aura with observation hockey. So he used that, and since he always has it on, it basically sensed All Might's energy and was like, it's weird. They have kind of the same thing. So All Might showed him the injury. He asked if he could be operated on by Izuku while um, Recovery Girl was there. And she said if he's supposed to be the one who operates, she at least wants other medical professionals to be there to see what happens. So basically, later that day, in the end, well, before school ends, he basically says that Izuku's not going to be able to train with them because they have something they're going to go do. When everyone leaves, he basically texts Kaminari uh, to fall to meet at a certain place without anyone else from the class being there. So they kind of get to a hospital where he's in his skin form with other medical professional that knows about All Might's true form. Then they basically go for an operation. He wash his hand, do everything. They prepare stuff, but he brought multiple medicine that they never seen before or even knew that could exist. And Izuku basically used different kind of method that they've never seen before. And with the medicine that he had, he basically started using them literally inside his body, kind of placing them in different spots in ways that basically the body would recover from them. But I'm not talking about directly plants, but more like some powdered plants make some specific medicine that will basically just be absorbed by the body eventually without rotting or doing anything like that. And he basically was able to kind of calm things down. His scar was still there, and basically all he was able to do was kind of augment the time limit he had, because the only reason he had the time limit was because of his lungs that were collapsed, the injury, and everything like that. And Izuku basically kind of augmented all of what his lung could take, basically helping fix them a bit, which I'm pretty sure is impossible, but in the world of One Piece, they were able to keep a guy that basically was supposed to be dead 20 years previously alive up to the Marine War. Yeah, I'm talking about Whitebeard. So if they're able to do that, I'm pretty sure they're able to help with some collapsed lungs and stuff like that, because he learned from Trafalgar as well as Chopper, Tony Chopper, which Trafalgar can basically do practically anything in medicine thanks to his devil fruit, but he also shown how it kind of works without a devil fruit, how he could do them, stuff like that. And Chopper basically helped a lot in all of that. So basically, when it was over and that All Might was finally woken up a lot later, they told him that with the operation he shouldn't first transform, work, or even try to do hero work for a good amount of time, which he said that he has to do it or stuff won't be good. Which Izuku basically said, well, in 2 weeks you should be fine to start moving again. Then he gives him some, not the rumble ball, but basically medicine in the same form. And he tells him to take 3 a days with every meal. And basically tells All Might that he should be able to fight a lot longer and shouldn't have that much problems with his body for a while until the power leaves him completely, which when he hears that he's like, what do you mean? And he said, you gave it to Kaminari, I know that. I saw how you two act most of the time, and you said that One for All could be passed down. You gave it to him. So at some point it's going to leave you and you won't have it anymore. So once you recover, you should start training your normal body a lot. Which All Might kind of reacts weirdly by that, because a kid basically just healed him and then told him to train his normal body because it would be better for him. So when Kaminari is finally able to enter, Izuku says, you're gonna have to train with me for a while without thinking about All Might, because for the next 2 or 3 weeks he's going to be resting in a bed. Then another hero that was there basically heard All Might will be in a bed for 2 or 3 weeks without being able to do anything, and basically asked, wait, is he hurt? Did something happen? And Izuku basically says that he had a small problem, and that it just happened that he was sick for a while, and that for now he's going to have to rest for a while. Then the hero says, goes to tell it to everyone else. Well, he thinks of that, but Izuku tells him, please keep this a secret, or at least tell other low-level heroes to try and augment their search and try to help more people, because All Might won't be able to fight, but not to tell it to anyone else. He tells him that if the press knows, he knows it's him, and he will find him. And just after saying that, the hero was kind of like, don't worry, I won't say it to anyone, like the press. Hell, if I do that, villains might try to find him and harm him while he can't fight. So basically, he tells heroes that are like rank 200 and lower, not all of them, but a good part of them that have a lot of powers and can be trusted. It's kind of augment the amount of work they do, because All Might won't be able to do anything for 2 or 3 weeks because he got sick and had a good amount of complication, but he's going to be just fine. So for the next 2 or 3 weeks, he basically doesn't transform, doesn't train, doesn't do anything, which saves him a good amount of one for all. And at the same time, every day he feels a lot better. Every time he takes his medicine, he feels like it's going better. He breathes a lot better. He doesn't need to sleep as much, but he still do because Izuku told him to sleep like 10 hours a day. And Recovery Girl basically every day goes to see him and basically kisses him once, making him a lot more sleepy, but basically thinking it's going to help him go get better faster. But Izuku basically after the third day he went to see All Might and saw what she was doing and said, that's probably going to help a lot. Thanks. Then she says, yeah, but it's not recovering that much. Then he says, yeah, probably because of the medicine I gave him. But it still helps. It should have meant the healing factor to only make it a weaker and a half or something. But I would consider you staying in bed even after that for the rest of the time, so that your body can fully rest. Once your body is fully healed, once his blah. He looks at Recovery Girl and said once his body is fully healed, stop doing it so that he can truly rest and get back more energy. Which she gets why he says that. And he looks at All Might and tells him to continue taking his medicine as well afterward. And that when he's out, he just have to ask him. Basically giving him his phone number. And Recovery Girl basically says, what, you think you're his doctor now? And Izuku says, no, but... Basically, he explained that with Chopper, what it was that if someone is hurt, you have to help him. With Sanji, if someone is hungry, you have to feed him. If someone needs help, Luffy is basically you help them, which he also has. From Robin, learn everything you can. From Nami, try to get as much money as you can, but that he didn't pick it up. Good thing as well. From Zoro, always try to be the best and never let anything happen to your friend. And never let any wound bring you down. So, while he can recover from basically anything, because he has the same durability and willpower as Zoro, probably even a little higher. Well, a lot higher because over time he got more and more. And it's 6 years later, so basically, unless you blow his arm off, he's going to keep trying to fight with it. And he won't fall down, no matter how much blood he loses, unless he doesn't have a single drop of it left in his body. So that's basically Izuku. He has the same mentality and the same needs, well, dreams as everyone else. Help everybody, be the best medic, be the best cook, and help everyone who's hungry. Be the best fighter, be the best swordsman, be the best navigator, everything like that. So you get it. He basically explained it to her this time with All Might there, and he says, every time I hear all of that you did and all that you learned and all that you actually want to do and needs to do, I am impressed. Your dreams are beyond what most human would even be able to think possible, but you're able to think of it and you can back up everything you have, which Izuku is kind of happy to hear. So he go back to school. The announcement was made the first day that All Might won't be able to be there for a week or two. So basically, for the 2 weeks where it's more training, he won't be there, but the day of the sports festival, he'll be able to come out of the hospital practically completely fine, but just not work too much. Like, at that point, he can transform, but he should not fight. So he's basically going to be able to give the medals like in the original, or and do a speech or something, but not no fighting or stuff like that, just to let his body recover more. So basically everyone trained and got like a lot stronger. Momo can now fight with two swords pretty easily because basically she kind of learned how to move them. She was already pretty much strong, so it's easy. Tsuyu's basically learned how to kind of use it because Izuku gave her a manual on how to use every aspect of it, which she basically learned about half of it in the 2 weeks. Um, Now, Kirishima and Ujiro basically kick a lot more, and everyone else basically just trained their strength, speed, and quirk by doing what Izuku was telling them to do. So, when the Swords Festival arrived, the only two that are at the same exact strength as in the anime are Shoto and Tokoyami. Well, they're a bit stronger, but like 2 or 3% more than what they were in the anime. Not training enough compared to the others, who basically went through hell for 2 weeks. Well, 3 weeks. So the moments they are, well, when they are in the Coliseum, well, in the room about to leave, just before Shoto freeze. Let's say Deku saw the girl in the, well, that has the equipment and stuff like that, and basically asked her why she's able to have those. Then she says that because she's in the What's the name? Okay, so she basically explained that she's in the support class and that her quirk basically only lets her zoom in with her eyes. So she asked for a special permission. So then he basically sees, well, Shoto going for an ice bridge and basically grabs her, lifts her in the air, and basically jumps. Shoto frees the ground, he jumps forward using Skywalk, puts her on the ground, and says, "Here, with that you'll be able to advance a bit faster." And basically start jumping over everything and arrive like a minute and a half later to the finish line and basically goes to the side and wait a bit like Zoro and starts sleeping. Everyone's like, "Whoa, his quirk's powerful. He's able to fly?" Which everyone's like thinking that. Then Aizawa tells over the speaker, "This boy doesn't have a flying quirk. It is special martial arts. That everything that you are going to see today are special martial arts he learned after being kidnapped, well, after being away for 3 years, and that he then trained a lot more during 6 years before coming to UA. His quirk is actually only capable of making him learn and grow faster. But don't try to copy him, you're not going to be able to. He took 3 years to learn them, and he was learning over 10 times faster than normal people. So basically, there's just someone that screamed, "Wait, you mean he did over 30 years of training in 3 years? What the hell is he? How strong is he at this point? Is it even fair for other students?" Basically, a lot of people speaking, parents of students or family and stuff like that. And he basically says he might get in first place, but at least the others only have to fight one like him. So the people who are talking about it being cheating are kind of a bit angry. But he then says it's his quirk. What do you want him to do? Not do anything and let people who has weaker quirk be over him. It's not his fault if he was born with that quirk, and it's not his fault he had to fight to survive while being away. With basically multiple heroes with because only Aizawa, Recovery Girl, Nezu, All Might, and two other heroes, plus the entire class, knew about that, but that he told them to keep it a secret. They basically said, well, basically a hero basically said, "What do you mean fight to survive?" Which Deku basically woke up. Well, he wasn't sleeping. He basically went to midnight, asked if he could have the mic. And then he basically starts saying that there was someone with a quirk that basically can make different types. Well, basically, he explained that there's a guy that can make different realities. That basically, once you create one, it's basically real forever afterward, connected to this world, but not in this world. And that he was basically sent to a pirate world by the guy that had that quirk, and he was basically taken by pirates that were actually good and trained him to do everything he can do. Which everyone were like, "That's a powerful quirk," and he decided to be a villain. Whoa! So that kid wasn't for 3 years in a different reality that someone created? How did he even survive that? Wait, Aizawa basically saying, thanks Izuku, that clears a lot of things. The League of Villain hearing that basically says, okay, we have to find where the person with that quirk is, but there isn't, so they're going to look for nothing, yeah, basically. But that's basically the story he gave for why he wasn't training with people from this world. So he basically went back to the side and started sleeping for real while everyone else was basically running. Since everyone at Class 1A was basically now stronger and faster than Shoto himself, basically everyone in Class 1A arrived before him, as well as the girl from the the girl with the zooming eye basically got a bit higher because she wasn't stuck in ice, so it didn't take her the same time to get unstuck. So she was able to get a bit more, mm, well, in advance compared to everyone else. So, in the cavalry battle, basically everyone in Class 1A, Class 1B, well, basically everyone wants to be with Izuku because they're thinking it's an easy win. But he decides to take basically Ochako, which he grew fond of. Basically started loving her, as well as her starting loving him, but just like in the anime, they're kind of, well, he would be ready to tell her, but he doesn't feel like she would accept. Because just like Luffy, he can sense emotions, but for some reason around her, he's not able to concentrate at all to use it when he wants to try and say something, so he is not able to sense the emotion coming from her. He's already trying to calm down around her to kind of feel it, but he's never able to. So that's why he doesn't get that she also loves him. So yeah, he takes her. They take let's say hmm let's say they just do the same thing as in the original. So he basically Ochako basically goes well. He basically tells that he's just going to jump and keep away from everyone. So Ochako decides to say, okay, I'm going to remove the weight from everyone, and he basically says no need. And when it starts, he basically starts jumping up and up and up and up, and he's basically out of reach of everyone. And then he starts using observation hacks in the future, basically what they are doing. Because he's just like extremely high. And so, just like for what, I don't remember her name, but one of the sisters of Katakuri, with her observation hockey, since she has it developed to basically as well to look in the future, basically looked at where the Straw Hats were from really far away. Basically, he can do that, but most of the time he basically just drew a bubble around him of like 50 meters. But if he wanted to, he could look pretty much, well, very, 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 very far, since she was literally in another dimension when she used it to look. So pretty sure if he wanted to, he could use his observation hockey to look at the straw hats, but he doesn't. So, um, they just do that until it's over. They come back down, they get the most points, and after that, it's the same ranking for everyone else. So it's basically the same teams. But in this one, compared to the original, in the battles, basically what happened is that everyone that fought, well, when it the first battle, Deku versus Shinso, Izuku basically looked at him and saw that if he talks to, will answer one of his questions, he's going to be hypnotized, and so he just starts walking towards him without saying a word, no matter what he says, since he has the same willpower as Zoro and the same capacity as Sanji to shut the fuck up when he wants to. Sorry for that. Um, so he basically grabs him and starts just basically while Shinso tries to punch him and stuff like that, he basically just puts him over his shoulder, walks to the side, and tosses him out. Like, everyone's just looking at him like he just threw out of the playground a baby that was screaming. So, he got the first win. After that, Kirishima won once again against the metal guy, Tetsu. But this time, just like one hit, it was over. Because fighting against Izuku basically means his hardening is getting a lot stronger. Because for someone with a hardening quirk, like Tetsu and Kirishima, it's when you break kit that it becomes stronger or when training. He basically did both. With a guy that was basically doing a single finger flick and breaking practically everything on him for 3 weeks. He got tough. Like, really tough. Like, his normal hardening is about like half of what his unbreakable form is. When he went against Rampa, he didn't think of the unbreakable form yet, so he doesn't have the tougher one. So he cannot use it right now. But Izuku at some point will think, wait, just like I have multiple strength of hardening, why don't you just start piling it more over and over again on top of it? Making unbreakable, basically. But that happens. The first battle with, well, the girl with the equipment with, I don't remember who, that person, she lost, so the other person wins. Ida versus the plant girl. Well, that doesn't happen yet because it's Kaminari against her. Kaminari basically went with one for all to push her out. So Ida won his first battle as well. Then those two took it out, which Kaminari basically wins thanks to one for all and the training with Izuku. Bakugo wins every battle up to the point where he fights against I don't remember who. Shoto loses the first moment he fights against someone else in Class 1A, which I think was Shero, the tape guy. because he basically was taught by Izuku to move fast and be extremely precise with his attack and to use everything around him to his advantage. So he basically just pushed Shoto out of the ring practically. Wait, no. Shoto still wins because I forgot that sometime when he's angry he uses his fireside bit. So basically he blocked Shiro and burned his tape and was able to freeze him completely. So he passed. But in his battle against Midoriya, basically Izuku was just breaking the ice before it was getting to him, since he is stronger than All Might, so an air pressure is in his possibility. So he was basically getting hit on the ground with one of his, well, on the ice with one of his arm, which was sending a shockwave through it and breaking it completely. And then he just said to Shoto that unless he uses fire, he won't be able to even scratch him. After that, basically giving the same speech, then Shoto using his fire, and then Izuku basically hitting the ground super hard and basically just flipping an entire half of the arena, well, not, well, yeah, arena over, making Shoto fall. And then the arena kind of fall back in place, but breaking this at the same time. So Izuku won. So Cementos repaired the arena. Then the next battle was Bakugo versus Izuku, which Bakugo basically said, I forfeit. I cannot fight him. With basically everyone asking him what he means, and then basically screaming at everyone, I trained with the guy for 6 freaking years. Not once was I even able to land a scratch on him. This guy is a monster. If he wanted to, I'm pretty sure he could beat up All Might. The guy's strong. So I'm not crazy enough to try and fight him, because to Shoto at least he was kind. He just flipped him over. Literally. But me? He punches. We're already friends. He's going to punch me. And I don't want to be the Kobo for the next 2 hours. Which Izuku basically laughs at this and said, you won't stay in a coma for 2 hours if I just hit your arm. You in the stomach. Which he says, yeah, but it still hurts like a truck. So Izuku wins, he's in first place, then Tokoyami against Bakugo. Well, no, he had already won that, so that didn't happen. Then Bakugo against Shoto, I mean, and Shoto is decimated in this one. Like, not even a chance for him to win. So, I'm going to end it here with Izuku being in first place, Shoto second, and Bakugo third. No, Bakugo second and Shoto third. So, in the next part, I'm going to basically say in which hero agency they're going, for half of the class is going to be the same as in the original, but there are, well, not half of the class, a lot more than that, but some are going to be different. So, yeah. I want to ask a question for everyone that will watch this. I want to make two different what if, which will be two what if Izuku had the powers of Lantern Corps, but without the rings. So basically able to make light construct, having a boost in power, being fire resistant, electricity resistance, and stuff like that. I want one to be good and one to be bad. For the bad one, he can have or the red lantern or the yellow lanterns. Which one would you want him to have? Fear or rage? And in the good one, for the good ones, are the other five colors: green, blue, indigo, pink, and orange. Orange is basically greed, but it's not really evil, it's more just that you want everything. The reason I'm putting it in the good deku and not in the evil deku is basically he's just going to try and steal a lot of things, but he's normally this is what it would be, but he's going to learn to control that. For the two others, it's basically because when you have one of the two, you're basically trying to do something evil over time. Killing people to make other people fear you, or just killing people because that's what you like. So, yeah. Which color should Deku have in those two series? Red or yellow for the evil one? Blue, green, indigo, pink, and orange for the good one. So hope you liked it. This video was really long. So Natsu out.